Right now, we're hearing from Norwegian Cruise Lines. The company says that it's relaxing its cancellation policies for new and existing bookings through the end of September. Customers will be able to cancel their cruise vacation up to 48 hours before scheduled departure. Guests who choose to cancel will receive a future cruise credit worth 100% of the original fare that they paid. Broadly, the State Department, in the meantime, is warning Americans against traveling on cruise ships, particularly for people with underlying health conditions. The CDC notes that cruise ship passengers are at increased risk of person-to-person spread of diseases, including COVID-19. Multiple people have tested positive on a Grand Princess ship that's holding off the coast of San Francisco. It is expected to dock today in Oakland. Joining us right now to talk about what this all means for the cruise ship industry is CFRA analyst Tuna Amobi. Tuna, it's good to see you.
Good morning, Becky.
What do you do with cruise ships, the stocks at this point?
You know, about several weeks ago when we downgraded the industry as this virus was emerging, I think we kind of figured that a base case scenario would allow this situation to play out over a few, weeks. With recovery time and a few months later. What has happened, Becky, is the worst case scenario that, frankly, we didn't even envision. Remember that we came into this with the fundamentals of the industry in pretty good shape. So a lot of people were questioning whether it was actually the right call to take a wholesale negative stance, believing, to Joe's phrase, that this too will pass. Well, it just seems that the news gets even worse.
I mean, did you ever imagine you have the State Department telling people not to go on cruises?
That is what I was just getting at. That was never in my imagination. And even before they came, a lot of customers were already expressing trepidation about, going on cruises. Cruise companies, frankly, didn't help themselves with the, refusal initially to honor, cancellations. What we saw was
initially, I think it's still a lot of them. This is Norwegian Cruise Lines that's saying they're reconsidering that, but I don't think most of them have. Same thing with airlines.
That's right. It's still some respected public, relations nightmare for the cruise company. So it's kind of a whole massive cancellations that we're seeing.
Here's my question. We talk all the time about how this is going to be a steep economic decline, but that you could see, and a lot of people expect you'll see a V-shaped recovery. Is the cruise industry different? Will people cruise again after this?
Well, I don't think, frankly, we're going to get back to normalcy. Frankly, it could take years. Even under the best case scenario where there's containment of this virus, it could literally take up to a year for things to get back to any semblance of normalcy.
So when you see declines like this today, 10% and better, or larger, I should say, does that make you think, okay, it's all been factored in, or you would steer clear of any of these stocks?
We're still steering clear, right? Which is a tough call to make, given that, the market half of this, a lot of these companies are cut in half, now getting to 60%, trading at, mid-single-digit PEs in some cases. So it's a pretty tough call, but to the extent that there is not any signs of containment, and now the focus is shifting to mitigation, it really gives, cause for concern.
The CDC saying that you are at risk for lots of different diseases because of the close contact, not just COVID-19.
That's right. I think what's really, startling here when you compare it to, Ebola or SARS, while the mortality rates here are pretty low, the number of cases and the number of countries is quite unprecedented. Nothing like we've ever seen.
But just the idea of getting stuck offshore, not knowing where you're going to land.
Norovirus was bad enough, right? And now, should you put 4,000 people on a floating? You may change the whole business model. This may change the business model forever.
Yeah, I think it will, frankly, in some respects. And what I'm hearing now is a lot of executives talking about, how to navigate this, how to make some fundamental shifts, when this is all done. And China, remember, while this started in China, which was always viewed as a long-term opportunity, for countries. Now, there's not even talk about China anymore. It's about what impact geopolitically it has in the U.S. and Europe and other key markets for the cruise companies.